It's short at playoverwatch.com.
We're all tied up here at HGC Europe with Team Dignitas taking on Team Liquid. We are at 1-1, and we're getting ready for game number 3. Caldor, do you think Team Liquid and Dignitas are going to go to game number 5?
I can't tell the future, so I don't know, but I certainly hope so.
I hope so too, man. These teams seem to be going back and forth constantly. If we have any indication of what we saw yesterday between Fnatic and Team Liquid, they just keep trading blows, and I enjoy that kind of Heroes of Storm.
One of the cool things, by the way, also, we talked a lot about the viewer engagement, and it's actually brilliant because we were talking a bit about that situation that unfolded as Dignitas was pressured at the top keep for the first time and why that sound barrier came in so late. It ended with Gul'dan dying. And it was actually a Cocoon that stopped him, so that slipped my attention at least. Cocoon delayed it, and that's why Splendor wasn't able to get his ult through there. So that explains it also a lot more. When I read that, I was like, okay, that made a lot more sense all of a sudden. That's so why, because if Gul'dan survives there, that could have been key immediately, and that would have been even worse for Dignitas. Yeah,
Cocoon is such a crazy heroic. Sometimes you go for the DPS to slow down the actual engagement for the team, or you hit it on a support to make sure that big clutch heroic does not come out. Let's find out which battleground we're going to for game number 3 between our two teams. We are going to Sky Temple.
Sky Temple is going to be our next map here, and this is also, once again, a map that is very macro-oriented, of course. And as you mentioned in Cocoon, the important thing to note about Cocoon is that you should never really use it if you are the solo warrior for your team. It's always something that you want to pick up if you are in a double warrior situation. There's a few extreme cases, I think, when you have, for example, double support as well, where it could be an option. But Cocoon oftentimes is a tool that you can use when you're already ahead to get even farther ahead, since you can force team fights that your opponent is trying to avoid. You go in, you drop the Cocoon, and then your opponent has the choice of either letting the target die, or they simply say, okay, we have to take this fight, and that gives you an advantage, just forcing these battles.
It's interesting you say that, because some players that play in Hero League may be like, hey, I run a Nubrak Cocoon all the time as a solo hero. And the reason why it may work in Hero League is because people don't actually kill the Cocoon. In competitive play, teammates will actually assist their team and get them out of the Cocoon, and now they have a number advantage instead of a disadvantage.
You could actually see that in this game. Every time Cocoon was used by JPL, we immediately had heroes there trying to drop it. I think it was one single Cocoon that lasted the full duration because the rest of the team was zoned out. They also knew it was Tyrion there, so they said, okay, he can escape. We don't need to worry about that. But that's a very good point that you bring up.
Well, here we go. Straight into Sky Temple, and Team Liquid will ban out Abathur. They don't want to deal with the pressure coming their way.
Yeah, Abathur is being banned out quite a bit, and it's so cool to see how... This is just another great example of how much mind games happen, about how much these teams study each other. We have Abathur picked and banned every single game of the series thus far. Both of the teams really respecting the copy value, also respecting a lot the push potential that you have with Abathur here. Whereas in other series that we had in HGC, the Slugger just doesn't have any impact because it's a completely different playstyle and completely a different approach to the game.
And what I like about the Abathur ban too is it forces Dignitas to get rid of Tassadar or Falstad, and now Team Liquid can have the global game against Ahaga. They know that with the first pick being available to Dig, they probably want to grab one of the globals. So now it's available for both teams here on Sky Temple. The question is, does Team Liquid move into Falstad and grab a support, or do they grab a frontline warrior?
Yeah, they could also just simply say, hey, you know what? Keep the Falstad, we're fine with that, and we go into something different. We've seen a lot of Lucio and Arthur's combinations that can be used if you want. There's still Greymane around where you have to think, okay, do we want to give Greymane over, yes or no? But they make the decision to, first of all, use the global, and they also use Gul'dan with this. So again, the heavy reliance on having that Horrify available, but also the willingness now to give the Greymane potentially over to Team Dignitas, who have been running him every single game.
Yeah, Team Liquid seems to value that Horrify much more over the DPS of burning someone down, which is crazy to think, because Greymane's probably one of the best melee assassins in the game. If you consider him a melee assassin, just him going in for the hard movements and just taking people out if there's ever a mistake. I mean, we saw it with Snitch there. There was a moment where there was a small moment of weakness like for Team Liquid, and Snitch turned it into a double kill. That's how quickly Greymane can push out damage. So that's how much of a statement there is here for Team Liquid, that they'd rather have their Horrify on the Gul'dan over that Greymane.
So Falstad also, as you can see here, with pretty good numbers, 56% win ratio, just alluding once more to how strong he can be with that macro play. And as we said before, Team Liquid and Team Dignitas are both two teams that are fantastic when it comes to the macro on the maps. They use those globals perfectly. And Greymane, that we've been talking about a bit, is picked up by Dignitas. So this is the third game in the row where they are running the Werewolf. We have Malfurion taken as a support here, letting Lucio slide for now.
Yeah, Dignitas grabbing it a bit earlier. When it got banned out last game, they weren't really feeling that. Just Malfurion giving them the chance to deal with the pressures coming in the line. Team Liquid every single time, like a majority of teams, they're going to attempt to take out the support when they can. Malfurion gives you a few layers of protection. You get your Root set up, you have your Twilight Dreams, and then Ice Block, which other supports don't have as many tools as Malfurion has.
He's also one of the best heroes that Bakery has in his arsenal. He's been playing for an eternity, Malfurion basically just nothing else. Whenever he could, they picked up Malfurion even as a first pick. That changed a little bit since then, but he still favors Malfurion quite a bit, and it fits their playstyle also very nicely. You have, with the Innervate, the constant push of mana towards your main damage dealers, the lockdown with Roots alone, the zoning attempt, and also these Twilight Dreams that we've seen him already use in the first game in particular are just outstanding.
Such a powerful hero Malfurion is. Li Ming has been banned out. Typically on Sky Temple in particular, you see Li Ming banned out if the opposing team has Greymane. There's a lot of spots for resets to be really scary, and then also around boss control, she can be a pain. She pokes you like crazy and slows down that temple or that boss from being grabbed.
There's definitely two aspects to her being banned out here. First of all, as you said, it's the map that really helps you to get poke in, since all of these fights are around temple areas where you can just poke in even blindly and you will get value. And this is what Greymane waits for. He waits for you to just chunk opponents down a little bit until he sees an opportunity for a kill. Greymane goes in, confirms the kill that Li Ming, so to say, prepped for him, and then she gets the reset and can just do the entire thing again. So you get really a snowball going between the two heroes. And on this map in particular, you gain value with this. So Liquid is saying, yeah, with Mena on Li Ming, we don't really want to risk this. Snitch has already shown us on the last map how deadly he can be on Greymane, so let's not give them the combo. That would probably be a bad idea.
I am worried that Dignitas might go into another Sylvanas here with their variant being banned out. Could be a possibility. There's Lucio and Tyrael picked up here for Team Liquid. Let's see what Dignitas is wanting to pick up.
Now, they're waiting for a hero for Mena and probably for Zelia as well, depending on how they want to structure it. If they put an Arthas, for example, in the mix again, they could definitely run that right now. They've been running quite a few Arthas plays, and that power spike that you hit on 16 with Greymane is something that I think is absolutely fantastic. So Arthas is definitely a strong option as a second warrior that would be probably being used by Zelia then. And when we're talking about Mena, he's usually on the majors. He doesn't have access to Gul'dan right now, and he can also not play Li Ming anymore. It's likely that Snitch is playing the Greymane, so maybe we're gonna see good old Mena on one of his classics.
I'm looking at this composition. Would Zeratul / Jaina be an okay round out here? It's a little bit squishy, but you get the lockdown, you can play around the sanctification, and it creates that tug of war that we saw earlier with the Horrify.
I don't like it as much because the Haka would move into that solo frontline role, and I think he's really just a second tank. I don't think as a main tank you can really run him. Overall, I think it's interesting how much we see a lack of Zeratul and Jaina in the combo. But if you think about the Tyrael on the other side, then there is a sanctification around that would negate a lot of the threat that it poses. Mena jumping on the mage. None of the classics. I was hoping for maybe a Jaina or something around the lines of a Kel'Thas, but the map doesn't really cater towards it. Now Mena can show a bit of Chromie play here. And Muradin over the Arthas is the weapon of choice, trying to get a bit more lockdown against isolated targets. So Stormbolt into Malfurion Root with a Dehaka drag on the back end.
Yep.
Can definitely hurt quite a bit, and it also, of course, sets up Chromie for kills.
Yeah, Chromie also brings in that poke that you were wanting with the Li Ming. It's not as repetitive as you normally have Li Ming just throwing out stuff left and right, and eventually you get the poke and the Greymane goes in, but it's still just as effective as Chromie does more damage than Li Ming does, and it's hard for Lucio to out-heal it.
A lot of the thought process is the same. You don't get the resets, but you are in a situation where you can start the poke with Chromie, and Greymane capitalizes on it. And especially with Muradin and Malfurion plus Dehaka now also being on the same rotation, you're seeing Chromie set up for exactly these kills. And if the kill isn't confirmed, Greymane is going to be the happy camper that just jumps in and takes him down.
And Nubrak being the direct answer to those type of mages that are there. It's in fact a great strategy for a Nubrak to sit on the front line and literally take the cues that are coming from Chromie. You're able to actually tank those for your team, so Lucio and the rest of the team can move in for the engagement. So a Nubrak just fits out similar to the Gul'dan approach that we were talking about earlier.
Especially with Lucio healing you up, so that's another big part of it. But we have some great comps here, and again, the series is tight. We cannot stress how important this series is for both these teams. As we said before, if Dignitas doesn't take the victory here today, they are more or less out of the race for the #1 spot. They will, of course, be in the playoffs, but they will very likely not be able to make any plays to come in top and directly qualify for the mid-season brawl. Whereas Team Liquid, of course, if they win here today, they find themselves in a bit of a battle together with Fnatic for the #1 spot. And yeah, Dignitas, they want to make this a battle of the big three by taking a victory against Team Liquid, tying with them. That would also mean that Fnatic moves into the #1 spot now if Team Liquid loses today.
Yeah, Dig is definitely playoff bound, but they would love to move up their rotations. Even getting second place would be great. Obviously, you have your eyes on the prize in the first place, but they got to do what they have to do here to get that first place. They got to get those wins here against Team Liquid, and then eventually against Fnatic. They'll be facing against them soon, so that'll be a fun series to watch. But yes, Dignitas going to be having a bit of a rough road here if they do fall behind against Team Liquid, whereas Team Liquid will be excited to have that win. That cushion, being in that first place, knowing that you're up there, means so much for the mid-season brawl.
Yeah, and this is again a scenario in which only the first team qualifies for the mid-season brawl directly. Everyone else has to play for the playoffs, at least ranks 5 to 2. And with our system that we're using here, with the step-ladder system, every single rank position matters. It means that you have to play one less match than later on. So this is what's really on the line here, and especially the top three have been fighting for ages now, for I think 1.5 years of who's the best team, and it always rotates and switches. The battle never ends, and it's beautiful to watch it.
Well, we get to stay here and spectate. Let's do it. Let's go into game number 3. We are tied 1-1. HGC Europe has Team Liquid taking on Team Dignitas.
Sky Temple, game number 3, map number 3. It's a tie in the series as to the left side we have Team Liquid with Dartmok on Anubarak, Blumby on Tyrael, Nurok once again on Gul'dan, Hazops on the Bird, and Splendor dropping the beats on Lucio.
Dignitas in the red on the right side. Bakery on his trademark Malfurion. Watch out for those ice blocks. JPL on Murden. We're going to see him playing aggressive. He loves playing that Murden. Snitch here will once again be playing on the gray main. We're going to have Chromie played by Mane. And then last but not least, Zelia on Dahaka.
Yeah, Zelia currently rocking the Dahaka place here. So trying to drag against Hazops. He was of course expecting that. Oh, now that Hazops is also on Falset, we have to watch out for his level 4 talent again. We've been talking a lot about the extra range on the barrel roll to set up the ideal Mighty Gust. Maybe that's something that he's going to show us today.
These matches between Team Liquid and Dignitas are insane. So much back and forth. Thank you, it's Derry YT. Hope you've been enjoying the show. We know we enjoy you pinging us and letting us know what you think about the HGC. Okay, so let's figure out what's going on with Dignitas here. They have Time Walker's Pursuit here on Chromie. Got some poke already here for Greymane. So very standard overall. It's mostly the Murden that I'm going to keep an eye on. JPL loves to play this character aggressive. So watchtower control for Team Liquid, which they're prioritizing now, is really important to make sure that that Murden gank, that Stormbolt coming in, isn't hitting.
Yeah, the Haka being called out, not being really too kind to Snitch so far here today. But Snitch, being the birthday boy, he has had some great showings already. Of course, that one moment on Cursed Hollow with this Greymane was fantastic, but even outside of that, he's been playing really well today. And yeah, this is an important match for the two teams, and they are fighting tooth and nail. This is what we were hoping for already. The Sniperinos coming in again. Dartmok a little bit low, has no cooldown available to him to burrow out of this one, and he falls first in the game. The kill for Team Dignitas.
So as a Chromie player, it's exciting to see a Nubrak on the opposing side, because one, you usually think, okay, I'm a Nubrak, I can tank Chromie's damage, but once you get that tasty, tasty Bronze Talons at level 2, you just chunk that character down. You saw it there, the Bronze Talons connecting with the Nubrak after he came in with the Engage, and Greymane for the final blow brings out that auto attack damage that is so solid and so quickly a wonderful tool for killing off that tank.
It's so funny in the European scene. We had, when it comes to Chromie, we had this battle between Shrimpy and Chris for playing dubs for the longest time. Both of them claiming they're the best Chromie on the server. And at some point, Mene was starting to chip in, and he says, wait, boys, I'm here as well, and mages are mine. So you can play auto attackers, but when it comes to the mages, I'm going to take the crown here. So all of a sudden, he wants to show his skills on her as well. Just fun to see that. It adds a little bit of extra spice to everything.
Yeah, it really does. I remember the moment in the Western Clash where he had the 3 members in the bottom left on the boss where he's just sniping people left and right. They couldn't leave the area. That was such incredible Chromie play and exciting to watch. Now, Dragon's Eye here for that level 5 talent being picked up, so we're going to be able to have that extra damage. Looking like we might have a Toro loop game here, especially with Lucio not having the cleanse.
Yeah, and also what we're seeing for Hazops now is not the increased range on the barrel roll that he oftentimes runs with, so he is going full on the heels on his auto attacks now. He has one main target on Muradin later on once that Giant Killer comes into play, but also, of course, the hits against the Haka are going to be quite powerful for him. And when Snitch starts jumping in on the Grey Main, that's another hero where he can use it to keep himself alive a little bit longer. He could have even used a static shield here against someone like Grey Main. This is something that we normally see when there is a Zeratul on the other side and Illidan, oftentimes also Grey Main, but Hazops really looking for that self-sustain. It's one of those cool things where you really see how many talents are really valid on a hero like Falstad, adapting to situations.
That's what it's all about, though. That's why we have the talent tiers, right? For heroes, so you can have that flexibility. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but other times, like heroes like Falstad, it does become a situation that really works out. One in particular, Muradin here in this game. Muradin, we have the 3rd wind here, and we also have the level 4 talent being picked up that allows him to, of course, bring out those W's, and then he's also getting the momentum here at 7, where if you look in Korea, we have here Stormbelt build being used very often.
Yeah, and again, if you're looking at this build and you're not really too familiar with Muradin as a hero, this build is completely designed to be tanky and be in the middle of the opponent's teams. Every single talent that you see alludes to this, but let's wait for a second because Blumby is falling here, taken down on the Tyrael, him falling. So that was a very good snipe and a good lockdown. This is exactly that prep moment that we've been mentioning when Malfurion goes in with the roots and then Mena capitalizing with his Chromie onto that stationary target.
Level 8 is here. What are we getting for the heroic on the Chromester? You got your slowing sands, which is good for control, which could be helpful around the temple, but you have Temporal Loop, which is great for fighting that one isolation and going in for the engage. With him holding it here, it's making me feel like it might be the Temporal Loop. He's looking for that Lucio or potentially the Gul'dan to burn down. They wound up picking up the slowing sands, so we're going to see where Mayonnaise drops us here.
Yeah, once again, that fight starting. The temple still under the control of Team Liquid at this point. Dignitas is looking for an opening, but thanks to the Haka at the top lane, they're still netting quite a lot of experience. Also, an interesting level 7 talent here for Hazops, but again, Blumby being attacked, barely getting out of there. Chromie trying to confirm that kill after all, not able to get the killing shot in. But Hazops going for the secret weapon. Boomerang, the hybrid build, is more common, but he goes all out on that auto attack damage, putting an immense amount of pressure onto Muradin, especially later on when he can take his level 13 talent.
Muradin living here, though. The turnaround. There's the Rue into the Chromie blow up, and the slowing sand on the left side here makes it hard for Darkmuck to retreat or for Team Liquid to go in and grab the shots. However, Darkmuck was able to get the last few shots. He lived there forever, it felt like. And Team Liquid gets siege on the bottom fort.
Beautiful combinations out of Team Dignitas. These lockdown situations that we've been talking about during the draft are unfolding in front of us time after time. Muradin gets a Stormbolt in against Falstad. Bakery is there immediately. And then Chromie says, all right, boys, I got this, and it drops the damage. Well done. It helps them with an early level 10, and thanks to that level 10, they make the immediate play for boss. They're an entire level ahead. It's 10 versus 9, so they do know that Liquid has no chance of catching level 10 while they're still fighting on the point, and therefore a free boss for Team Dignitas, trying to put themselves even a little bit more ahead.
Yep, so easy to grab that boss. When you have the scouting drone, you have the time trap, you have a level advantage, easy grabs there for Dignitas. They'll go ahead and push it in while they have JPL on the Muradin, helping out with the assist, clearing out the minions so they get the value out of said boss, while Dahaka has to run the top lane. Falstad has been quite the nuisance here on this fort, has got it down to a quarter health. But Team Liquid about to hit level 10, they'll be in a spot here to start making some plays.
And I was saying a bit earlier, I wanted to talk a bit about the build on Muradin. So if you're a bit newer to the game and you are just picking up Muradin right now, thanks to our mega bundles, the one thing that is really to point out here is that every single talent that he currently has is meant to be sustained. His level 4 gives him a second Thunderclap, and with his level 7 talent, he can just reduce cooldowns a bit. And the whole build comes together once that you get the level 13 talent, because once you pick up Healing Static, you heal for 5% of your max health for each hero hit by the Thunderclap. So the entire idea is you engage into as many opponents as possible, of course always with your team following up, not on your own. And then when you stand in the middle of them, you clap, you auto attack, you get the cooldown reduction thanks to your auto attacks, you clap again, and every single instance of that Thunderclap is healing you up. So you are just that beefy monster in the middle of the opponent, trying to stun them, trying to do damage, trying to clap them into the ground. That is unkillable. So the level 13 power spike for Muradin is going to be huge.
Wow, Mighty Gust being used here. We're going to have an engage from Team Liquid. The boss on the left side is not available as we picked up earlier, but they were going in for the giant toss up. So not having his Gust is getting bit by Snitch. He goes in for the kill also, getting a nice little dab there on the Gul'dan as well, but still a big pickup there from Dignitas as they take away the false Falstad.
Dignitas combo is working out so well. Top lane is being pressured by that camp that they took a bit earlier, and the kills that they are confirming are always the result of poke. Greymane himself is already a hero that is meant to poke and then finish off in the Worgen foam with his talent. So the entire cocktail build is just endless poke coming from you until an opponent is low enough so you can confirm the kill. Chromie just adds to that, and that's what they're doing here. This is how they get their kills, and it's 4 against 0 kills as we have a temple being fought over again. But Dignitas is not only 2 levels ahead, they also have at this point the extra talent. And this is level 13 where Muradin gets so strong. Sound barrier being used. In comes Darkmoon trying to escape here. We already have Sankt on their ground. Gul'dan alive, but not for long. He's falling, and Splendor is also not looking too good, but able to get away. Hazop desperately barreling out of here. Blumby on the run, gets nearly sniped by Chromie. They are all just trying to rush away here as fast as they can. Team Liquid just has absolutely no standing in these fights at this point.
Team Liquid's Hazelubs comes in there, brings out the Mighty Gust just to make sure that Blumby gets out. But that entire fight goes over to JPL. Kudos from him. He came around on the bottom left side, got a big flank in, sat on top of Nurok, forced the early sound barrier, which allowed for the combos that were so prevalent so far with Dignitas to come on out. We almost had a moment where Snitch did fall victim, but solid play from Bakery, drops in the heal and makes sure to guide that Greymane away from the fight.
Talking Greymane, he's currently on 12 stacks on his level 7 talent, so he only needs a few more until we finally see him with a completed quest talent. When we're talking about Hazops, then we're also looking at 23 extra damage on the Season Marksman. So he's 17 away from completing his talent. The level 13 already is going to help him with the pressure against Muradin in particular, and that's something they really need. They need that power spike on Falstad, and ideally, of course, also the 16 for Luthio to finally have opportunities in these team fights, because right now, they are hurting.
JPL goes for the engage. He saw a time trap at the top left where Nurok was being picked up on that time trap, which meant that he's not near the fight. This is a 4v3 that Team Dignitas can go for. So JPL instantly with the engage. They do push them away. There is a 3-level lead here for Dignitas. It's about to be mitigated here to a 2-level lead, but still, Dig closer and closer to level 16.
But this is not a level 13 talent that Liquid wanted. So even though Dignitas is close to the 16, maybe Liquid can force a battle here that they can fight on even talents. They are already making plays to the top because they realize this is a fight that we want. Our opponent is trying to dodge that, so let's attempt to at least take a few structures down so that we net more experience for ourselves and get also a better position in the game. Because so far, they have lost every single fort and they haven't taken down one yet. So from a structural point of view, they're incredibly far behind, and that's a disaster on a map like Sky Temple, where we have the objective push against the structures directly.
And Dig was aware that Team Liquid was looking for that fight. Look how they were using the slowing sands. They had the bottom of the fort that they could not be flanked, and now the moment they hit 16, they go in for the engage. JPL here, Zelia's burrowed in. Oh. We have a tongue hitting on the Tyrael on the back. The Twilight Dream to make sure that he cannot sink.
Beautiful, really well done. They get the kill, the drag and the dream, going in immediately for a kill against Tyrael and ending the dreams of Team Liquid. A 3-level advantage for Team Dignitas now, and they are moving towards the boss once again. Liquid has been on the back foot for ages. They are down 6 kills, 3 levels, and they have not gotten a single kill just yet. Dignitas is playing an absolutely fantastic game here, and they do not give Liquid any openings.
They have so many tools for control, but also tools to get fights and kills there. The Dahaka really allowing this to happen. Darkmock gets tongued here. A Nubarak down to half health. JBL jumping in there, even using the stun here, having a heavy impact to land on Falstad. Falstad forced to retreat. Mighty Gust not available anymore. The boss has been taken. Dignitas is in full control.
Dignitas is doing whatever they want at this point. They are moving towards those temples again. There's a camp on the map that they could theoretically also invade. Main needs to be careful. All right. Has support. Snitch and JPL both going in, trying to steal the camp away. That didn't help. Did they get too aggressive? Sanctification on the ground. Stuns coming through. Trying to move away the time trap. Saving them from Blumby though. And now with 2 temples up, this is going to be... This is going to hurt so much. Already the bottom keep is losing hit points. 3-level disadvantage. Team Liquid is forced into a fight. They don't want to take it, but they have to.
That's why I like that aggressive play, actually, because Dignitas, even though they went to the top left and intend to actually steal the mercenaries, them getting multiple members to come up from Team Liquid allow for that boss to be effective at the bottom, which means they can get double keeps here if they are aggressive. Haselov goes in for a big play. The sounds comes out from Bakery. Greymane turning it around. Snitch biting left and right. 2 people have fallen.
This is an execution. Team Liquid is getting executed on Sky Temple right now. Every time they try for an engage, they get just shut down hard. beautiful Twilight Dream on the side of Bakery, and then Greymane is doing the rest. Takes the double kill. They don't even have to go for those 2 temples. They obliterate Lucio as they move to the bot lane. They are walking through the keep. They want to go for a core here. A fantastic game by Team Dignitas, shutting down Team Liquid hard in this game. They move back. They actually don't even want to risk it with all those heroes about to respawn again. So they take away the keep at the bottom of the map. They fall back to the 2 temples, and that is going to secure them another keep kill in the middle. And now we are likely to see the top keep fall too.
Yeah, it's that Horrify being available for gold and just makes it too terrifying to push into. Dignitas plays safer here. They pull on back, and they continue to control these towers. As you were mentioning here, the middle one will expire in a second here. If Dark Market is to step off, and they'll be able to get that keep. Finally, the 3rd keep of the game is about to fall. There it goes. There we are. So, Dignitas has all 3 keeps down. Team Liquid will have catapults pushing them in on all 3 lanes, and they don't have 16.
They don't have a key, a fort taken out yet. This is going to be the first one. This is the first fort that Team Liquid takes down. 14 minutes into the game. Basically, Dignitas just put Team Liquid in checkmate. Right now, a single temple is enough to end the game. A boss is enough to end the game. Catapults are going to push in. The only, and literally the only way for Team Liquid to win this, take a big team fight, wipe Dignitas, and try to push through the top lane, through the keep, for core.
And that is a tall task.
Yes.
That is for sure.
Yes, that is really going to be rough, especially since, of course, going through the keep is going to take some time, and that would help Dignitas to even recover. But first of all, you have to wipe them, and you haven't gotten a kill. If you're Team Liquid right now, you haven't gotten a single kill in this game, and now your objective is to more or less take 4 or 5 in the next team fight, or you are going to lose this slowly but steadily.
And their window to actually take a team fight is closing heavily. They move over to the top right here, realizing Dignitas is grabbing their mercenary camps, and they want to go in for an engage, but Dignitas doesn't even give them a chance to do so. 20 about to hit for Dig, and they'll be in such a commanding lead that they continue to do what they've been doing all game. Whatever they want.
Hazorbs is 4 extra stacks on the Season Marksman away from getting his quest talent completed. Maybe they have enough DPS with that being used to drop Muradin. Muradin went into the stun on level 16, so they can just engage even harder into their opponent. There comes an attempt for a fight. Falset is flying in. Big pressure at the bot lane still, but they are taking this fight. They hope for an opportunity to get a kill. It does not happen. 20 on Dignitas' side. Tyrael is down. Bot lane pressuring hard. We have Temple up on the map. This is literally game. Liquid is sitting there, and if they don't somehow get a miraculous wipe right now, it's just not happening. Look at that bot lane. All those minions, the mercenaries already taking 13 points off the core of Team Liquid. The Haka at the top, the rest of the team moving in. There is literally nothing Liquid can do anymore to turn this around.
They can just hang around here and apply a couple auto attacks to apply stats, but as the core falls down to 20%, down to 10%, down to 5, the final shots from the Temple will be enough. That is going to be a GG here. Dignitas goes up in the series 2-1.
Super impressive. Really well done here. Also, not only the team fights and the coordination that they had, that was on point.
Yeah.
With the poke that we saw through Li Ming, with Snitch just being a beast on Greymane, and also Bakery with amazing Twilight Dreams, but also the strategy that they used. Every time they have a lead, they look to the map and they're saying, what can we do with this? They get the early level 10, let's go for the boss. Push the bottom fort through, 1 structure eliminated. Get the perfect timing for the camp at the top lane when we're fighting for the bottom temple. It's another fort down. Structures eliminated all over the place. They get the temples, they push even more in, and then in the end, they knew the only way for us to lose this is to take a stupid fight. Let's not do that, wait for the next temple to be up, and then we can do whatever we want and we have a guaranteed win.
Play smart, not hard. And
Exactly.
That's what they did. They just played smart the entire game there. The control was wonderful too. You just really empowered Greymane to be effective. You had the roots, you had the time traps, you had the slowing sands, you had the Twilight Dreams. So Snitch was able to do whatever he wants. It almost seems like this composition was built to give a birthday present to Snitch and allow him to go off.
I mean, he has a great day, and he's been going off on Greymane in all of the games so far, with the exception, of course, the first one where he didn't play the hero. But that was something. This was really enjoyable. This is also one of those games where Liquid, of course, has to simply shrug it off. Yeah. Look at it, say, okay, that didn't go our way. We never got the engagements we wanted. We were never in the position that we were hoping for. Let's focus on the next one.
Yeah.
They are an experienced team. They are a team that has recovered from a lot harsher losses than that. But of course, they need to be careful now. They need to win 2 in a row. But they are a team that can make that happen. But this is a game where you can literally sit there and say, like, yeah, we didn't even get a kill. Let's just forget about the game. Let's focus on the next one.
Well, Team Liquid will have a chance to tie up the series right after this commercial break. We'll be right back.